You're live. You're going live. You might be live. Okay, I had no real solid plans to do a video about this particular hat since I included discussion of this particular hat in Safari video or maybe both Safari videos actually, and the Riverina video, but since that one only had Riverina in the title, maybe nobody will know that I talked about this hat. So this should be a slightly shorter video than that video because I already talked about this hat. But at the same time, I already have had this hat for a while. But since I had to send back that other hat, it's technically an unboxing of hat part 2. So once again, we have the foam ring thing, and we have the hat guide from this particular distributor that may or may not come with your hat if you buy it from a different company. And since this isn't necessarily an ad for that company, I don't know how much of this I want to go into. And it's kind of long, so for a video, but it talks about using a kettle to steam things and boxing and unboxing and this and that kind of thing. I assume most of which is common sense. Hat care, how to crown certain hats to look more like an Indiana Jones hat, which obviously this is a totally different style of hat from his shorter brim fedora, although similar principles may apply. And of course, I'm not going to show the invoice there. But again, we have the holder doohickey bit, and we have the felt insert or whatever, or foam rather, for the interior of the crown. Now, that was the sticking point of the previous model, the Riverina, that I didn't like. Well, I went a size bigger than this one because this one does not quite sit down on my head far enough, and I'm hoping it will kind of stretch with time. So when I'm indoors and I'm wearing it here, you can't tell that it's not totally sitting correct on my head. So you're like, what are you complaining about? The other one, I went up a size and it had a less of a round crown, especially in the back here. You can see it was more of an oval shape, which I typically say fits my head better. But when I went up a bit and did the bit, it was too big and it was kind of flopping down over my eyes more if I moved my head too much. So that was an issue. And I also, the color was not quite right for most of my wardrobe. So I decided that I would trade that one for the larger size of this one and the other color that I technically don't like as much. And so it's got this, yeah. But the overall fit, it sits way down on my head farther. But I assume that this is as better as I will get because I'm not fighting with it. And in the comments of the previous video, some guy said, no, don't return that one. Put the foam stuff in it and it'll shrink to fit your head. So if this shrinks to fit my head in the right places and not in the wrong places, then I guess it will be fine. Forthwith. We'll see. I can't return the other one because I held on to it too long, so I'm kind of stuck with it. And I'm assuming this one is going to do what I want it to, so I don't know if I should have got two of the same color and blah, 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 or just be happy with this one for summer and blah, 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 and see how it goes. Anywho, so, yeah, everybody's watched about 3 minutes of the last video, so I'm already over the amount of time you might watch for this video, don't know. But if you wanted to see the other color, here's the other color. You can hold them next to each other. See what the difference is and why this one is obviously way better for, I don't know, spring and maybe autumn, and this is better for late spring and summer and all that. And again, we still have the two larger ventilation holes, and I'm pretty sure that the banding is exactly the same, more or less, and with the name there. And so rather than take off the hat and replace the hat and all that. But again, this is, I don't know if you call it metric sizing, millimeter sizing, I assume. So one tiny millimeter you wouldn't think would affect it as much as it does, but it does. But like I said, after I've been wearing it for a minute, it's not too bad. And I haven't worn this out and about yet. There was a chin strap that I ordered that hasn't come in yet. And so I forgot to show that, but they only have it in nylon and they only have it in tan or black. So when I called to order, the tan was out of stock and I didn't want black for the hat. So I don't have that to show right at the moment. Well, there's this and that going on. How that all fits in. It's supposed to kind of weave in through the, I don't know if you can see the stitching there underneath the sweatband somehow. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out when I get it. And of course, I guess I can show that the interior should be the same on both, basically. If I can get made in Australia and the territory and the label, which again I showed all that in the previous video, and again yada yada yada. So do they work better in the hot weather than other things and straw hats and such? Don't know yet. Haven't really had a chance to check that out. Usually when it gets warm, I don't wear felt hats at all because I have other hats, but I might try it and see how it goes and give an update down the road and all that sort of thing. And if anybody, of course, has any questions, you can put them in the comments, because if I forgot to mention anything about hats that you might want to know. Again, this is the one model. Well, another reason I had ordered that other model, I think I might have said this in the previous video, but I thought, well, I already have a lot of hats that are this kind of pinch front shape. Many of which are, again, more similar to, or meant to be more similar to the indie style, but the brim on this is actually pretty big comparatively. Maybe an inch or so. Yada yada yada. And so I thought I would mix up the crown shape a little bit, just to have something different and a little more cowboy looking. But of course, when I put it on, I instantly realized, no, the reason I have a bunch of hats that are shaped this way is because they look better on me. So you might not like this crown shape for, again, the more round aspect of it. Or you might just not like the look of it because it isn't Western looking enough. Whatever. In which case, maybe you'll want to try that other model or one of the other models. But some of the models, they have different names, but the only real difference I can really kind of pinpoint is the width of the brim mostly. So there's 2 or 3 that are this wide of a brim, and that's about it. And then this one, they used to offer a third color, I think. And I was going to order one of those a few years ago and never got around to it. And so I don't remember what color that was. And it's only in 2 colors now anyway, as far as I know. It might have been black, though. I don't remember. And I do have black fedoras that I never ever wear that are not felt, blah, blah, blah. Or one's not felt. I showed it in the 2 safari videos ago and the other hat video from way back when, I think. Anywho, it's one of those waterproof ones. Okay, so I'm rambling now just to fill time, and try and remember if there's anything in my memory that I'm forgetting, but I'm not remembering anything. So signing off.